So what do you think was wrong with the team if you had to give one main thing?
Not to rip on JT Barrett, but the pass game was not where it needed to be, in my opinion.
What's your solution to that?
I don't know if there is a solution. I just want a quarterback who can throw. But I like JT Barrett. He's a great guy, but needs to be a better result next time.
You think he's the insert quarterback?
I don't know. We'll see.
You don't. What about the other guys on the roster? You think they need a shot, or you're rolling with JT next week?
Definitely JT. It's just he needs to amp up his game for sure.
What about the receivers downfield? What do you see about them?
I mean, Campbell definitely didn't have like that drop like he had last game. He was more. I don't know. I like Campbell a lot, but we will see.
What about the defense? I mean, there's a big talk last year about the basic defense, and Baker Mayfield kind of carved them up tonight. What do you think?
I mean, we're supposed to have the best defensive line in the past, 10 years. Apparently, it's supposed to be the best, but we kind of got our secondary did not make up for that. We just got shredded. So, Baker Mayfield, I think, is going to win the Heisman.
What's your thoughts on the game? Your first take.
Awful.
What do you think was wrong?
I mean, if I say everything.
If you had one thing to fix the team, what would you do?
Less penalties. I mean, we killed ourselves. So, yeah.
Less penalties?
Yeah.
What do you think about the offense? I mean, obviously this isn't what you were expecting when we got a new offensive coordinator.
I'm hoping that we get better, after it was just awful. But I am hoping through the season that they get used to the new coordinator and he gets used to us and we can use JT and have him run more and learn how to pass.
A lot of people are calling for JT Barrett's head. What do you think about that? You think he should still be the quarterback?
Absolutely. That's unfair to him. No, a lot of the receivers dropped the ball. That wasn't his fault. Yeah, and he didn't have good protection sometimes. So, yeah, no, he's still our quarterback.
Obviously, it wasn't the offense you were expecting, a new offensive coordinator. Just talk about that a little bit. You think JT Barrett's the insert quarterback?
I mean, he's all right here and there. He does miss a couple open passes, but I think he's pretty good. I think we run too many of the same just read options and screen passes and stuff like that.
So you think it's the play call more than JT Barrett?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think it is a lot of the play call.
So if you're the coach, are you rolling with JT Barrett next week?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. What about the defensive end? I mean, Ohio State's used to having the best secondary in the country, and this week that's not really what we saw, not even last week. What's your answer there?
We're just young right now. I think throughout the year we'll get better and they'll have a chance to prove themselves.
That's probably one of the worst losses I've seen at home in a while. I was part of Virginia Tech loss, Michigan State loss a couple years ago. Baker Mayfield's really what killed us. Our defensive line, they say we're that great. That's 2 sacks. That's not good enough. I'm sorry. Our secondary got tired and got exposed. The lack of execution on offense. I think we're a run-first team. We're a run-first university. We've always been that. I know they put 8 and 9 in the box. Still don't care. It becomes mano-a-mano, Oklahoma versus Ohio State. I believe in our athletes. But that was that effort. Once we came 17-13, we didn't answer. You can slowly see that momentum just getting sucked out at Horseshoe.
Yeah, and the few times they ran the ball, it seemed like they were doing well. What do you think about J.K. Dobbins? You think he needed more carries?
Absolutely need to run first. You got to feed him, Mike Weber, whoever the back is, has got to feed him. Even when JT ran, it was smart for the most part, but I've seen him 3 years ago when he won the national championship. He was a focused quarterback. I'm seeing him and he's happy feet. He's not focused. He's staring down the first guy. That's not the JT I remember 3 years ago. I don't know if it's in his head. I don't know if he needs rhythm. I don't know if he needs play action. But they need to think about something real quick. You can't say you're the number 2 team ranked in the country and play like that at home. Our biggest thing now is we have to win the Big Ten. We have to win out, and we have to look good doing it. And I hate to say this, we have to have Oklahoma win the Big 12. They have to win at Red River. They have to beat up Bedlam game. That's it.
What do you think the answer is, particularly offensively? Do you think you ride with JT Barrett next week?
You still have to because he's the captain and he has tangibles. But, we got to run first. We have to establish run, period. And, I mean, we did. McLaurin dropped a touchdown pass. The receivers have got to catch these things. Mm-hmm. I think they've made better efforts over the last 2 seasons to get open. Got to finish. +2 and finish. He talks about that in practice every day, right? Mm-hmm. we're not finishing.
What about on defense? I mean, obviously this has been the one of the best secondaries in the country, if not the best, and it didn't really look that way the past 2 games. What's your take on that?
I think we're very young, very green in certain places. Can't figure out if we're a man team or a zone team. I know we're trying to mix up coverages, but like, you know, Oklahoma, like no one's going to run in Ohio State. For like 3 quarters, they didn't run the ball. They're going to spread you out and try to kill you in the secondary because that's what Indiana did. And they saw this weakness and exploited it. And it comes down to matchups. You know, and if you do 2 things on defense, you're either a coverage team or you're a pressure team. And we don't know what we are. We don't know what our identity is. That's not silver bullet defense. Not at all. So,
what's your take on the rest of the season? You think where do you think the Buckeyes end up come January?
if we win the Big Ten and we win out, and we got to look good doing it, like style points matter now at this point for us. We're behind the 8 ball. It's really going to come down to the committee, because we could be the Big Ten champion and they'd see this loss and they go, well, too bad. I mean, it happened to TCU a couple years ago.
With Oklahoma last year.
Yep, it happened to Oklahoma. Like, it's not guaranteed. Just because you're in Power 5 doesn't mean you're guaranteed. All right, now Oklahoma, like, there's also a lot of other things we can't control. I mean, Texas could beat them. The Pac-12 could be goofy. You don't know.
Yeah.
We just have to focus and play our game. Our goal now should be the Big Ten championship, period.
Is there a silver lining at all?
I don't know. There's one of two things going to happen this season. Either you grow up or you lose 2 more games. And I know that he's going to challenge these kids, but at some point, it comes from right here. I need to see it for these guys because they play flat. No passion, nothing. That's not what we stand for as a university, period.
My wife is happy. She's going to have a nice ride home. I got 1,100 miles of pure agony right now.
You drove from Oklahoma?
Yes, I did.
Oh, when are you driving back?
I'm driving back Monday. The only good thing is I get to play golf tomorrow. So very disappointing. Outplayed, outcoached, out everything. Just disappointing.
If you had one solution to the problem, what do you think it would be? Just one simple solution.
Heart.
You think it comes down to heart? What'd you see that you didn't like?
Play calling. You know, I mean, like I said, I live in Oklahoma. Kevin Wilson was the offense coordinator at Oklahoma. Didn't work out. Now he's here. Same thing. I see the same thing here. That's all in Oklahoma.
You didn't like him in Oklahoma?
No, I didn't. That's why he left Oklahoma and took the head coaching job at Indiana.
You didn't like what you saw from him at Indiana either?
No.
So you think he's not the answer at offensive coordinator?
Well, I mean, it's 2 games in. It's early, but you know, right now, I mean, all the receivers are doing is just doing spot routes. You know, there's no imagination in the offense right now. So you know, and if we're going to compete and be a number 2 rated team in the country, you got to have imagination. You saw what OU did tonight. You know, they got a brand new head coach. You know, you saw what happened.
So, Michael, what would you say is your main takeaway from the game?
JT Barrett sucks. Play calling's terrible. DBs need to learn how to cover and play the ball. I got more stuff, but I shouldn't say it. Yeah.
So you said JT's terrible. What's your solution there? Who are you playing instead?
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins?
So much more potential.
Okay, so next week you're rolling with Dwayne Haskins. Why?
Give him a chance. Tate Martell's not making anything happen. Give him a chance.
So, I mean, obviously there's more than what was happening offensively. The defense had no answer for Baker Mayfield. What's your take on that? What needs to happen there?
I mean, Baker Mayfield's a great quarterback. I think everyone kind of knew he was going to tear up our secondary because last week was kind of ugly too. So they need to just get that fixed. I don't know how, somehow. They need to get it fixed.
What's your take on the rest of the season? Where's Ohio State going to be come January?
A bowl game, hopefully.
A bowl game, hopefully?
Oklahoma's a really good team, right? Baker Mayfield battled through a lot of injuries. He just gutted it out. Their offensive line handled our defensive line, won that battle most of the time. We had some good plays, but I think they just beat us. And our offensive production was just not there. You know, we ran it all the way downfield, and then we started passing. Couldn't punch it in.
So your take's just Oklahoma was the better team?
I think I think they played better than us tonight, and I think our offensive creativity was a bit lacking.
Okay, so what do you think is going to fix that offense? You know, like, what's the spark, you think? Is it going to be different play calling, a change at quarterback?
Well, I think play calling is one thing. JT Barrett's a pretty good quarterback, but he's playing differently this year. Looks like he's playing more of a pro-style offense rather than playing to his strengths. So I don't know how. I think Joe Burrows would run that offense pretty well. But JT Barrett's a good player. I'm just not sure they're utilizing his strengths with the running. He'll get outside, he'll run out of bounds. Whereas years previous, he was more of a competitor, and he would go and jump over people and take on those hits and run through them. But he's still a good player, and I think a lot of this is Oklahoma. It's pretty good.
We'll talk defense. What did you see there? I mean, obviously Ohio State prides themselves on having a great secondary, and they kind of got carved up. What's your take there?
Well, I think a lot of that begins on the offensive line, and Baker Mayfield was protected. Our defensive secondary is young, and there were a lot of open holes in the middle. My son kept saying it's open in the middle. He knew it. You got a back leaking out of the backfield, and we've got cover two. The safeties could not react fast enough. You got to have a linebacker pick that guy up out of the backfield, and it was open much of the night.
Do you think that's a simple fix, or you think Ohio State's gonna have some growing pains in the future?
You know, I'm no expert, but I like college football. But it seems like there were some. It was good offensive play calling on Oklahoma's part, for sure. We had a couple plays like that as well, where we kind of got everyone on one side of the field, and JT Barrett would leak out and just run for 12, 15 yards. And so that's a good play call as well. They just had more of them than us tonight.
So rest of the season, what's your outlook? Where's Ohio State going to be come January?
Well, I think we have played what toughest opponent we'll face until November. I'm not sure actually when Penn State is actually.
It's October.
Okay, so we do have Penn State coming up October. That's going to be a big game. That'll tell us. You know, we've got some time to go through some more non-conference opponents, some time to get to some Big Ten teams, and kind of warm us up for the premier teams of the Big Ten in Penn State and Michigan. And we've got Michigan State. I'm not sure exactly how they are this year, but they always play us tough. So.
Well, so you a little optimistic?
Oh yeah, I'm optimistic. I think they'll do well. They'll bounce back. They'll make some adjustments. Yeah, it's a great program. I hope they hold their heads high and just keep fighting.